50 silos is a lot of seeds. You don't need a no-fly zone for seed depositories and libraries.
They are also for a different kind of seed, people, to repopulate the earth.
The founders announced plans for 50 silos. Bernard counted 51. Charlotte discovers she was nothing more than bait, and Camille spots cracks in the algorithm. Grey Goo reveals one thing above all. From the very beginning, the silos were designed to save humanity, but also to kill the people inside them. What if the biggest problem wasn't the apocalypse, but the founders themselves? Let's break down the details you may have missed in episode 8 of Silo.
The founders didn't build a single silo. They built 50.
In the past, Stenson plans to build 50 silos, and that number immediately reopens a mystery. One is missing. Back in season 2, Lucas said the founders had built 50 silos. Bernard corrected him. Technically, 51. Until now, we could assume the 51st was the one in charge, Silo 1 at the center. But if we cheat a little and look at the trailer, the map it reveals clearly numbers the silos from 1 to 50. Silo 1 is right there in the center, surrounded by 7 outer groups. So where is this famous 51st silo? We don't have an answer yet, but keep in mind this isn't an inconsistency. Episode 8 only reveals that Stenson originally planned to build 50 silos.
Well, you want 50 silos. You need 50 diggers.
50 for the 50 US states. So what, is the 51st one Greenland? This mysterious silo wasn't included in the original count. Why? We're still waiting to find out.
If you're Silo 1, how do you get a poison pipe to every silo?
Bernard's sketch also confirms how the safeguard works. It comes from Silo 1. All power flows from the center, even if we already suspected that. But that raises the most intriguing question. If the silos were truly designed to save humanity, why design them from day one with a network capable of pumping toxic gas inside? And that's not all. They built in several other mechanisms: poison, drones, D+. All of it was designed by founders obsessed with control. Why? Was it their own apocalypse that terrified them?
We wanted you to experience just one of the threats we face.
As they were building the 50 silos, they had to prepare for every possibility. They didn't know what their own extinction level threat would be. So it feels like they tried to control the survivors as tightly as possible to compensate for that uncertainty, because no one could point to one thing and say, that will end the world. And yet, all the warning signs were already there.
The one that is most dangerous is also the reason why I'm the richest man in history.
Nuclear war, climate change, a pandemic, an asteroid, or artificial intelligence. At this point, every possible end-of-the-world scenario is on the table. But Stenson is betting on Grey Goo. Grey Goo is a doomsday scenario associated with nanotechnology. Imagine microscopic machines capable of manipulating matter and replicating by the billions over and over again. If that replication spirals out of control, these nanobots could theoretically devastate the biosphere. That's Grey Goo, a planet consumed by microscopic machines that never stop multiplying. Stenson sees this technology as the greatest threat because a nanoweapon would cost far less to make than a Fallout-style nuclear bomb. In his mind, some amateur could one day build a doomsday weapon in their garage. Still, nothing confirms that Earth will be destroyed by these nano-whatevers. It's a prediction, and anything could still happen. Whatever ends humanity, Stenson remains convinced that catastrophe is bound to strike in the near future. So, the silos must become an insurance policy against the worst-case scenarios. That allows Stenson to justify this massive undertaking before extinction is even imminent. This isn't far removed from reality. The 50 silos would be a kind of Svalbard for humanity. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is a massive facility built in the Norwegian Arctic to preserve seeds. But here, instead of preserving only seeds, they would also preserve knowledge, art, science, and human beings, so they could reboot civilization after a disaster. So yes, Stenson and his inner circle claim they're saving humanity, and yet, before they even lay the first stone, they show us which people they consider expendable: Charlotte.
Can we get to what happened to my squadron?
The cloud that you flew through, that was their nano.
Charlotte finally discovers why her squadron was sent to Iran. Iran has a secret facility tied to a nanoweapon. The Americans know about it, and they already have a way to destroy it. But before eliminating the threat, they thought, what if we found out what the enemy's nanoweapon can really do? That was Charlotte's mission. 4 pilots attacked the base to force Iran to deploy its new defense system. It was a test, and the pilots were turned into cannon fodder. When the nano weapon attacks the planes, the United States gets its answer, but 3 soldiers die for it. Charlotte realizes she was nothing but bait, sacrificed for her country, and now she has to decide whether she's still willing to join the 50 Silo Project.
I think I'd rather be blown to bits by a nuke. Or turn into gray goo by nano than stick around for your post-apocalyptic underground mole people party.
Helen, Daniel, and Charlotte have a choice to make, whether or not to join the project. The group offers Helen a position at the Times in Atlanta. On paper, it's a dream promotion. In reality, she would become their official voice, responsible for announcing the project. With Helen, they control a network of media outlets and dictate what the world gets to know, in their words and on their schedule. But she says no. Helen isn't rejecting survival itself. She's rejecting the society being designed by people who can sacrifice Charlotte, then decide for themselves what humanity has the right to know. That's Helen for you. Her rebellious streak is alive and well.
Charlotte, what about you?
Surprisingly, Charlotte makes the opposite choice. Several things push her to say yes. First, she's still a soldier. They're offering her a role that builds on what she already knows how to do. Then there's Victor, who signed on. She trusts him. Since losing her memory, he has become one of the few people she can rely on. But most importantly, when she accepts, she looks at Anna. A romance has blossomed between them, and love can be a powerful catalyst. Daniel doesn't try to make the choice for her, save her from the system, or even make the same choice as his sister. When he gives her the rosemary, it unlocks a real memory of their mother. Like Juliet's Pez, one simple item breaks through the fog left by the treatment. Now, Daniel has achieved his goals. He wanted to understand what had been done to his sister and restore what had been taken from her. It's done. That door is finally closed. Daniel can finally choose his own path. So he turns down the offer and sides with Helen. Their first kiss isn't just a romantic reward, it seals a moral alliance. They'd rather die together than survive under this authority. Again, I'm glad he made that choice. The writers stay true to the character. Deep down, Daniel was never the kind of guy who could switch sides that easily. But that's not all. There's this long final shot that lingers on Victor. He watches the couple leave with that little smile, almost as if he's thinking, "I'll see you again soon, Daniel." He may have kept a low profile these past few episodes, but I haven't forgotten how important he could turn out to be. And we have to wonder whether Charlotte really made her own choice, or whether Victor influenced her by manipulating her memory, by giving her back false memories.
Could I tell her a lie?
You could.
Charlotte is more important than we realize.
We should have given him more time to make the suits bulletproof.
In the books, Charlotte is a drone pilot, not a fighter jet pilot. The show first turned Charlotte into a fighter pilot to build the entire mission storyline, and now it seems to be steering her toward the role she has in the novels, drone pilot. So what can we take from that? The founders explicitly recruit a drone pilot at the very beginning of the project.
We could use a good drone pilot.
There were clues as early as season 2, and thank you to all my viewers for being so invested. Silo 17's freedom flag reveals something. I did my research to verify this theory, and yes, after more than 30 years of exposure, a flag should be frayed at the edges, split by long rips, with pieces eventually breaking off. But if the art department had done that, we never would have seen this flag riddled with holes. Those punctures look much less like ordinary wear and much more like impact marks. So here's my theory. Unless a meteor shower hit the area around the silo, we had already been shown how Silo 17 died under fire from armed drones. And 352 years later, the drones are there, armed and deployed against Lucas and Kennedy. And the drones aren't the only hidden technology built into the system.
And I just have a feeling that whatever you did with Hardwood played a part.
In Silo 18, Knox's father designed a secret elevator for Harwood. During the rebellion, Harwood wanted to move supplies somewhere safe, so the light bulbs weren't used to build the elevator. They were part of the resources being moved. Mike was part of the smuggling operation. Orla discovered what he was doing, and he murdered her. Case closed. So the investigation ultimately tells us that the lack of elevators was never a technical limitation. They can be built. The silo has everything it needs to build one, which confirms that this is a political restriction, not a lack of resources. Okay, now that the tool exists, could it serve a more honorable cause? For now, Juliet is looking for another hidden piece of infrastructure, the one that can kill an entire silo. the safeguard.
She decided to weld herself in because that was the only way she could keep the poison out.
Kennedy and Lucas have reached Silo 17. The fact that Lucas is injured proves that the poison outside never got inside his suit. He says it himself. If he had been exposed, he would already be dead. That line weakens the idea that the natural atmosphere is truly toxic, or at least, is it really that deadly? And is it deadly everywhere? It clearly strengthens the theory that the threat is localized or controlled around the silos. While Lucas is being treated, Kennedy finds the safeguard's location. There's a body inside, Gwen, Jimmy's mother. To save her silo, she made a plug for the pipe, then welded the door shut to keep it airtight. Jimmy has to face the ghosts of his past when he finds his mother's body, but he was never taught how to bury someone. He carries the trauma, but has no ritual to turn it into a memory. Kennedy tells him how his wife Doris was buried beneath a peach tree. The body feeds the tree, then the fruit feeds the living. In a society built on erasing the past, the ceremony reverses that logic. It preserves Gwen's memory. After Daniel, Kennedy also closes a chapter.
Yeah, I'm the bullshit guy. Yes. So just go bullshit.
He finally turns his greatest flaw into something useful for Jimmy. In the past, he convinced a group of residents that the outside world was a paradise. Today, he admits he was wrong and that he spread a dogma. His gift for persuasion no longer sells a lie. It helps Jimmy face the truth and gives Gwen's death meaning.
Jimmy, your dad gave his life to save you, and your mom gave her life to save your silo.
Both of his parents were heroes. Further along, Billings and Kathleen heal a wound of their own. After each going through their own crisis separately, they finally admit that what they missed most was each other. I have a feeling this episode deliberately closes several arcs, like the end of a cycle before the final stretch, and Bernard may be next on the list.
Because if we can cap the pipes and eliminate their ability to kill us, then we can have a conversation.
Bernard still isn't rejecting the safeguard itself. He wants to know why it exists. I know I've said this before, but this is what Silo is really about right now. Why do all these defenses exist? And for anyone commenting, the answer is in the books. Yes and no. The show takes liberties, and I prefer to stick to the facts it gives us episode by episode.
Why do they need to kill a silo?
The goal has changed. Neutralizing the safeguard is no longer about survival. It's about taking away Silo 1's weapon to rebalance the power dynamic.
All the years I did my job.
After Rob, Bernard also seems to be following the path to redemption. So the conflict no longer simply divides heroes from villains. It's starting to unite an entire silo against the higher authority that has kept them divided for years. Bernard now won't comply without understanding, and he even opens up to Juliet. Look at him, he's battered, struggling to speak. I'd even say he sounds like a man on death row, like he has nothing left to lose and everything left to save. He admits that he committed terrible acts by convincing himself they were necessary, even virtuous. The entire moral justification that helped him cope with his crimes has now collapsed. And Juliet understands that. When she says she hates that she can't hate him anymore, she isn't forgiving him for any of it. But she sees that Bernard was also shaped by the system, told just enough to obey, never enough to decide. Isn't that right, Camille?
What I'm seeing, is this a reflection of my mood or yours?
At dawn, the algorithm wakes Camille to tell her that Lucas and Kennedy have finally reached Silo 17. It barely cared about that tomb before. Now it seems concerned. Red for danger. The interface briefly changes here, but the color isn't the only thing that's off. The audio waves pulse when Camille speaks, even though they normally move only when the algorithm is talking. Camille may have caught the screen displaying something she was never supposed to see. Did the intern go offline for a coffee break?
Hello?
And this isn't the first anomaly. In episode 6, Camille walks in determined, and the algorithm goes silent for a long moment.
You there?
Then the voice seems completely confused about why she came. That could point to some kind of internal activity, someone stepping in behind the screen, or simply slower processing by the program. I don't know. There's no way to know which option is realistic, but the sterile, perfectly controlled facade has cracked. Camille even jokes about it while the algorithm carries on as if nothing happened. It sidesteps the anomaly, but Camille saw it. This tells us that she's starting to notice these subtle changes. It's almost nothing, but it's like she's taking notes, quietly studying every tiny misstep the algorithm makes instead of accepting it as a neutral authority. Then the real shift comes when she asks how Juliet could neutralize the safeguard. The voice won't answer. Camille has to obey without being given the keys. She's beginning to realize that she's still a soldier, not a leader. Even so, she continues her mission, but the people she relies on are slipping away one by one. Rob won't talk to her, condemns D+, and tells her he doesn't recognize her anymore.
See you soon.
Sandy sends out a warning, Shirley escapes, and Juliet sacrifices herself so the plan to neutralize the safeguard can move forward.
We have to cap the pipe.
The founders may have designed a system ready for anything in the name of survival. But they underestimated one thing. Human nature is not an exact science. It's the bug in the matrix. Across both timelines, from Helen to Juliet, more and more characters are rejecting their logic. Now the question is whether, after Bernard, the algorithm can keep Camille blindly obedient for much longer.